So many older adults are exercising and eating right daily. We are taking the time to learn new things, and we know the importance of life balance, making sure that leisure and fun are significant parts of their healthy lifestyle. As part of that get up and go attitude, we are hosting webinars like Eating for More Energy with culinary nutritionist Michelle Fox, where we can discover ways to keep our nutrition in check so that as we age, we can continue to do the things that we love to do without limitations. In that lively spirit, we welcome you to enjoy our Eating for More Energy with Michelle Fox. While we hope you learn something new and exciting, we want you to enjoy yourself and relax, and most importantly, have some fun. If you'd like to learn more about healthy living and nutrition, please check out the website of www.aarp.org /food/healthy eating. We look forward to connecting with you. And now I turn it over to Michelle.
Hello, everyone. I am so excited to be cooking with you this evening. Thank you so much for having me in your kitchen, and welcome to mine. As Al said, and thank you, Al, for the introduction, I am Michelle Fox, culinary nutritionist, and it is just my passion to talk all things health. And tonight we're talking healthy food and healthy eating. We'll be talking about how a lot of these foods that we're going to be preparing are not only filled with antioxidants, but they're also antiviral, anti-inflammatory, and all of that is going to help to increase our energy and to manage our moods. So, without further ado, first things first, start your ovens at 375 degrees. We're going to preheat the oven because tonight we're going to bake the salmon. So we want to get the ovens nice and warm so the salmon will be nice and tasty, delicious. As I look over at my salmon, we are going to cook tonight. Hopefully you all received your handouts and the ingredients before registering or while registering. But if you want to follow along with me, at the bottom of your screen, you should see it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 red circles. Looks like towards the middle circle, you'll see a circle that has some papers in it. And if you click that, you'll see a handout that I created for you. And on that handout, you'll see the list of ingredients and also the recipe. So you can follow along with me there, but I promise I will do my best to talk as slow as possible, even though I'm so excited to be here. I'm telling you, we're going to have some fun. I saw a few comments earlier about a few people being nervous, and I promise you, there's nothing to be nervous about. I can't promise that your food's going to be amazing, but I can promise we're going to have some fun. Are we in for that? Can I see that in the chat box? Can I see anybody who's ready to have some fun this evening with me? I'm going to just actually wait. I'm going to give fun a chance. I'm going to give fun a moment. Let's see. It looks like Margaret's ready. Looks like Allison's ready. Diane's in. Sarah's in. Jan's in. Rainy. I love it. Well, welcome. We got a woohoo from Sarah. Awesome. Geneva. Let's have some fun. We got a capital Y, capital E, capital S. Yes, thank you. So let's dive in. I think I just mentioned set your ovens at 375 degrees. We're going to preheat it, get the oven warm for the salmon. And while the oven is warming up, let's start with our cauliflower. I'm going to grab this gorgeous veggie. And I have to say, I'm a little partial. She is my absolute favorite vegetable. Although you might hear me say that about the kale too, because kale's kind of my favorite too. But we're in luck. We're going to cook both of them this evening. But the cauliflower, we're going to make a Cauli mash. The entire meal, I'm sure you see it on your handout, but it's a ginger Cauli. Actually, let me get that right, all my excitement. Cauli ginger salmon plus a magical kale salad. So with this gorgeous cauliflower, before I cut into it, I just want to ask, does anybody know which vitamin it is loaded with? And it's a vitamin we all need right now, as most of us are inside a lot. And it's the kind of flu season and the virus season. So somebody says vitamin D. I wish, because we do need that. So I'm glad you know in this time, we definitely need vitamin D. But the vitamin that might surprise you with cauliflower, I'll give it 2 more seconds. We're getting a lot of vitamin Ds. Yes, I'm so glad the information's out there. So yes, if you're not getting vitamin D from your food, it's just my personal recommendation. Obviously, I'm not your doctor, but personal recommendation, get that vitamin D supplementation in, and you might want to check in with your doctor on amounts. I'm getting A, B6, E, C. Tony, you win. Yes, cauliflower, which actually surprised me when I learned it as well. It's chock full of vitamin C. And the vitamin C is just going to boost our blood system and keep us healthy during this crazy, crazy season. So that is one of the nutrients we're getting in tonight. So I already started. I chopped half already just because I knew I'd get talking, and as excited as I get, we might be here all night. So I promise I'm gonna keep it under an hour, and I will leave questions, or I will leave time for questions afterward. All right, so grab your gorgeous cauliflower. I have already rinsed mine. Some people prefer to chop and then rinse, whatever is your pleasure. And then we are going to do what's called a coarse chop. So if you have the full cauliflower, just cut it in half. And then this was a half, so I'm going to cut it in a quarter. And to make our Cauli mash, just to give you a heads up, we're going to steam it, and then we're going to put it in the food processor or your personal blender, either way. And so the chops, since it's going to get mashed up, they do not have to be perfect. Actually, none of this has to be perfect, I promise. And it'll still be delicious. That part I hope. I can't promise, I'm not in the kitchen with you cooking, but if we follow along, hopefully you'll find it just as delicious as I do. So as you're chopping, I'm chopping off some of the coarse bits, so we're not going to steam that part. But the rest of the head, as you can see, I'm going to just chop it, the cauliflower. And yeah, sometimes it is hard for me not to sing when I'm in the kitchen with my vegetables and I can smell them and I start salivating. I'll do my best not to sing the whole time because, that's not one of my talents. All right, so when I say coarse, I mean coarse. It can be even this big. We don't want them too big because we want them to steam relatively quickly, but, about this size. I'm just going to put it in my colander over here as I chop. And then I'm also going to check the comments to see if there's any questions. Let's see, does the cooking reduce the vitamin C? That's actually a really good question. Nobody's ever asked me that before. How about this? I'm actually going to research that because I want to know the answer to that question. You can follow me on any of the socials. I say any. I'm only on Instagram and Facebook, but I'm at Michelle Fox Love, and I promise you, I will answer your question because I want to know. All right, I am coarsely chopping. So I'm getting all the pieces in my colander. Like I said, I did already rinse mine. If you need time to rinse your cauliflower, you can do that now. And feel free to make a mess. I just had a few pieces of cauliflower fly onto the floor. And all this singing I'm doing. My voice is getting a little parched. So just taking a sip. That's another thing. Again, not your doctor, full disclosure. We mentioned that we need the vitamin D right now. We definitely need the vitamin C right now, and the water. The winter time, it can often be kind of disguised because we're not out in the sun so much or outside, and you don't think you might be sweating as much. But winter actually is when our bodies tend to get the driest, and the winter is the time we need the most water. So just a little hip tip. I'm sure your mother or father or parental figure told you that all the time growing up. Here I am again, telling you it still works, and we still need that water. All right, I'm almost done chopping my cauliflower. Hopefully you're getting there, especially since you're not talking or singing. Or maybe you are. Hopefully you are singing with me. And some of the woody parts can go in. And all right, and so while you are chopping, hopefully you already have your steamer out, but if not, I'll just show you the steamer I'm using. I call it old-fashioned because I got it about 20 years ago. And so it's just the pot, and then I'm putting it on my cooktop here, and then I've got the insert where I will place the cauliflower. But I know, excuse me, that a lot of people are fans of the Instapot, which I just got 2 weeks ago, by the way. So if any of you have tips for me, again, find me on socials and send me some fun recipes because I haven't really had time or a chance to play with it yet. But I understand you can probably steam in the Instapot too. So we're just going to steam our cauliflower until they're fork tender. So we don't want it too soft because then our cauli mash is going to be mushy. And we don't want it too hard because then the cauli mash will be crunchy and it won't taste like mashed potatoes. Let's see. We've got questions on the right, questions on the left. Let's see. I love singing almost as much as I love cooking. Yay! Laura, I love that you're singing with me. Awesome. And then let's see. Allison says we have the same pot. Amen for old-fashioned steaming. Love that. And then Sarah says she loves, loves, loves her Instapot. Awesome. Hit me up for recipes and tips. Okay, Sarah, you asked for it. I will hit you up for recipes and tips. All right. And then Laura says she just got an Instapot for Christmas. Nice. All right. So I'm going to put my cauliflower in my steamer. And I'm going to do it by hand just because the camera's on. If the camera was off, I would just pour it, and there's a good chance the cauliflower would go all over the counter, and, it's all good. All right. I have got a teenager and a dog in the background. I'm sure some of you all can relate. I'm hoping they will calm down back there. Let's see. All right. Cauliflower is in the pot. I am putting the lid on. And now making sure the steam vent is plugged in. Oh, it's not wanting to settle. Let me try one more thing to make sure so that nobody gets burnt. That would be me. Thank goodness for you. You're safe on the other side of the screen. All right. Hopefully I didn't jinx myself by calling it old-fashioned. Maybe I hurt her feelings. All right, here we go. Venting lid is down. And now I'm going to turn this puppy up to about a little higher than medium high, so closer to high heat. So while our cauliflower is steaming, let's move on to the salmon. All right, so I've got these gorgeous salmon fillets. You can see them there. And a few things here, what I want to talk about. The protein. This is the main reason I chose salmon. Because I know some of us are pescatarians, some of us are vegetarians, some of us are all-out meat eaters. I can tell you with the salmon, it has so many nutrients that one, I think is kind of right in the middle, but two, it's just so powerful. I'm reading my notes just to make sure I don't miss any of the highlights of the benefits of eating salmon. One, it reduces inflammation. It helps to build our cell membranes. It helps to improve our brain health. And dun, 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 it helps to reduce heart disease. So, of course, we're cooking it tonight and eating it tonight. All right. So, this gorgeous salmon, and I'm sure you saw in the notes, it can either have the skin on, and if it does, just make sure the skin's on the bottom by the time we're done putting all of our seasonings on, or no skin. Mine happens to not have skin. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. It's just a matter of preference and or, frankly, what's on sale sometimes for me. But we do prefer to get the wild caught. All right, let's jump in. The ingredients for the salmon, we're going to do 2 tablespoons of olive oil. And I'm just eyeballing it, kind of drizzling it. You don't want too much. You don't want too little. And then we've got 3 tablespoons of tamari. And the reason I chose tamari over the soy sauce is because soy sauce has wheat and gluten in it. And all of my culinary nutrition, I was going to say beliefs, and yes, beliefs, but training. We do not eat gluten. We really try to avoid dairy and sugar, very, very little. So that is my personal food philosophy, and so hence tamari. I actually think it tastes exactly the same as soy sauce. So here we go. 2 to 3. I'm just going to kind of drizzle it. I love that word. Don't you love that word? Drizzle. I'm just going to drizzle the tamari over the 4 fillets. And the reason I chose 4 fillets is because those of us who it's just us at home, this still makes they'll make an awesome lunch tomorrow. They make great leftovers. And you can even have it dinner tomorrow if you want. And including the people that have lots of people in the house, then you can just double the recipe if you want. So we've got the tamari, and I'm just looking. I saw some comments pop up. I want to make sure I'm not missing anything. Let's see. Ooh, Laura makes steamed salmon in the Instapot. Okay, Laura, it's on. I definitely want to learn about that. And let's see, Sarah says her hubby is gluten-free, and you use gluten-free soy sauce and tamari both. Awesome. I love it. Okay. Thank you for sharing that. So we've got the olive oil, we've got the tamari, and now we've got 1 tablespoon of minced garlic. So I already went ahead and minced it. You can see it's nice and tiny. If you are cooking with me, which I hope you are, I'm going to just move the salmon to the side. I'll just show you a quick tip that I recently learned as an adult. I think a lot of people might already know this. I don't know, but I recently learned it, and I think it's so cool that I'm going to share it with you right now. So I just took a clove to go really basic. This is garlic, and here is a clove of garlic. I just peeled it off. You take that clove, you take the edge of your knife, and you just give it a little whack, like bam. You can get out some of your anger, some of your feelings, some of your emotions out on the garlic. She can handle it. Garlic can handle it. But what I love about that is it splits it open, and then it just makes it that much easier to peel. So I'm going to peel the garlic. And, oh my gosh, it is so aromatic. And this is, of course, only if you love garlic, which we do. In this house, we just can't get enough garlic. And I'm sure you know, but it definitely is worth mentioning. One of the most highest levels of antioxidants in the garlic. So I'm sure if your grandmother was trying to heal you back in the day, she probably put garlic in that solution somehow, because garlic just has so many beautiful healing qualities that nourishes and supports our body. So I'm taking this garlic clove, I'm just splitting it in half, and now I'm just chopping. And I'm chopping it in the smallest pieces possible to actually mince it. And I hope there's no professional chefs watching right now, because you're probably going, eek, why is she holding the knife that way? Look away. Close your eyes. It's kind of like earmuffs for the ears, muffs for the eyes, because, again, there's nothing perfect about this. My title, Culinary Nutritionist, the emphasis is on the nutrition. So as long as we're getting this good stuff in our body, it honestly doesn't matter what it looks like. But cut it up, keep chopping, as small as possible, small as you have patience for. And then I'm just going to put it in with the rest of my chopped garlic. And before I grab the salmon back out, we can do the ginger at the same time. So this is what the natural ginger looks like if you want to find it in the grocery store. Obviously, you can find it pre-cut, or you can just do plain ginger powder if you don't want to go through this. Obviously, any whole food is going to get you more nutrients. It's going to be more dense and get more vitamins in your body. But this ginger is going to be just as tasty and flavorful. So whatever you prefer. So when I have a natural ginger like this, I just peel off like a finger, kind of weird to say. And then I simply manually just take my peeler and I just peel off that hard outer skin. I'm peeling the ginger and I saw some movement. Let's see. Rainey says yummy veggies. Woo woo! And it says these recipes can be altered to suit dietary needs and requirements. Absolutely. We don't have any added salt, no added sugar, no oil. Oh, you're not doing oil either. Interesting. Okay. So then, yeah, if you are on an oil-free diet, feel free to avoid the olive oil. The olive oil, I think, just makes the salmon a little bit crispy. It kind of crisps it up, but it is full of its own natural oils as well. So you don't need to add oil if you are on an oil-free diet. We definitely want to respect everybody's choices in this community. Let's see. And then Geneva says she's using cocoa aminos. Perfect. Absolutely. Absolutely. Because it's gluten-free and it's sugar-free and it's dairy-free. So it gets 2 thumbs up. So great job, Geneva. I will say that cocoa aminos taste a bit sweeter than the tamari and the gluten-free soy sauce, but it still has the same kind of similar flavor. All right, I'm almost done peeling this ginger. All right, so now I've got most of the skin off, and it's okay if some of the skin's still on. And then I'm just gonna chop off. You know what? This is like a cauliflowered up knife. I'm going to just rinse this knife real quick. I don't want cauliflower in my salmon. Okay, so now I'm just gonna slice in the middle of this ginger. And then very similar to the garlic, I'm just gonna do coarse chops and make it as small as possible and use with as much patience as possible that I have to get those small chops in there. All right, chop it, chop it. We'll do the chop dance. Sometimes I do Instagram lives and we've got the music playing. That's really my background. I'm definitely more of a dancer than a singer, but lucky you, you get both the singing and the dancing tonight. All right, let's see. So we've got the small pieces of ginger, and now I'm just looking at my recipe to make sure I'm not missing anything. I think we are ready to rock and roll with our ginger salmon. All right, so we already did our tamari. That's going to give it the saltiness. And now for the ginger. Actually, I just grabbed the garlic, so the ginger. And with these little pieces, I'm literally just going to sprinkle it. They can fall where they may because we are getting our hands in there. That is one of my favorite parts of cooking, similar to gardening. I imagine if you're on this call, you probably love gardening and getting your hands in the dirt as well. And I cut a little bit more ginger than normal, but I love ginger, so it's all going in. All right, and now we'll just do the same with the garlic. You can use your fingers or a spoon if you don't love the texture. Oh, and then one little cheat, a little hip tip if you want. We get minced garlic from Costco. It kind of, like I don't love that it's in a big plastic jar because, chemicals. But for those of us who have like a million things to do in a day and don't want to necessarily spend it chopping garlic, it's a little cheat. All right, so now that we've got all of our ingredients on here, I'm just gonna, like I said, I'm getting my fingers in there. I'm gonna rub all the ingredients on the top while I dance and I sing. Feel free to dance and sing with me. And then I'm gonna flip it. And even if you have skin on your salmon, you can do, please do the same thing. We want it seasoned on both sides. So rub, rub, rub. I'm gonna flip it. Flip it. And then I'm just gonna kind of rub it into the sauce and the ingredients because I'm sure you can see the garlic and the ginger and the tamari are all at the bottom of the pan. So I'm just gonna make sure top of my fillets are coated. Now I'm going to flip it back over, and so now the bottom will get that same seasoning. And then I'm spacing them out to make sure they're not touching, because we want the salmon to come out, well, I want the salmon to come out as crispy as possible. And if they're touching, that might just be too much moisture. So I'm going to rinse my fingers in my little magic bowl over here. And then that is it. So here's what mine looks like. I've got my glass dish, my 4 fillets, and all of the ingredients. And I'm just going to put it in the oven. And again, if you haven't preheated, just put it to the side and preheat 375. And now I'm putting it in the oven. Oh, before I go, let's see if there's any comments. Let's see. Wendy says you can peel the ginger with a spoon. Sweet. Yes. And Tony says it's much easier to use the side of a spoon. Okay, that's it. I'm going to come follow you guys, and you guys are going to show me how. And now Laura says for how long? Okay, 375 degrees. We're going to start with 12 minutes, but then use your intuition. Because right at 12 minutes, that's about when I can start smelling it. Like it becomes aromatic, and I'm like, probably time. But sometimes I need a little bit longer. So let's see. Sarah says, already smells so good. I've never cooked much fish, so this is a good growth opportunity for me. Cheers to growth. Nicely done. Putting it in the oven. All right, and now I'm going to ask my beautiful assistant, aka my 14-year-old angel, to set the timer for 12 minutes. Thank you, love. All right. Ooh, can you guys hear this steamy cauliflower going? I think I'm going to give it 1 more minute, and then we'll press the pressure release on that. Let me check my notes to make sure I'm not forgetting anything. Okay, so we've got the salmon cooking. Next, we're going to release the steam from the Cauli, and then my favorite, the magical kale salad. So, if you're cooking with me in an Instapot, yours is probably doing it instantly, and you don't have to worry about it. If you're doing it the old-fashioned way with me, I don't know if yours is steaming yet. I'm going to unsteam it right now, and it is going to have a little bit of noise. So if you're sensitive to noise, either mute me or turn me way down, because here we go. We are going to get the steam out of this beautiful steam pot to create our Cauli mash. As my teacher says, mind the noise. Here it goes. Or or not. Let's see. I hope my steam thing isn't broken. Let's see here. Here we go. And let the steam out. All right. And then I'm gonna, as you see my body language, I'm like, we definitely don't want any steam issues here. So I'm just gonna slowly see what's going on here. Oh yeah, that's beautiful. Okay, we've got the soft but not too soft cauliflower here. I'm going to put the lid on the side, and we're just going to let this cauliflower cool for a minute. Nobody's getting burned tonight. Let the cauliflower cool. And while it cools, we are going to jump into our magical kale salad. So what I learned recently is that when you massage kale, which is what we're about to do, get our fingers really in there, it's easier to digest, and personally it's just easier to chew on. So we're going to be massaging some kale momentarily. But I think we should take a break and ask some questions, which is, first question, these gorgeous kale leaves. Can anybody tell me some major minerals and or vitamins and or nutrients that are in this kale? Let's see. So Jan's asking, what if some of the pieces are thicker? Oh, the salmon. Great question. Keep an eye on them. You can always Like obviously the smaller pieces are going to cook faster. So at the 12-minute mark, when we pull it out, if the small pieces look like they're done, great. I would take my spatula, put them on a side plate, put the bigger pieces back in and let them finish cooking. Awesome question. So back to the kale, we've got vitamin A. Let me double check my notes because I don't remember that vitamin. So it's possible, but not in my research. We've got vitamin C, a little bit of vitamin C, iron, absolutely, Tony. We've got the vitamin iron. How about we just have iron? Absolutely. And vitamin K, Diane wins. Nicely done. And vitamin K is awesome for bone health. I will, I'll let you in on a little inside thing. My family, I'll just say, we'll leave it a little vague. Some members of my family are fans of dairy milk because they believe that that is the only way to get your calcium. Not true. Calcium is very rich in dark leafy greens, and the vitamin K itself is supporting our bones. So if we're going to choose, you know what Mama Michelle is choosing, the kale. Let's see. Oh, Laura says I purchased purple kale because it was gorgeous. Oh, that sounds amazing. I wish we could share photos on this screen as well because I would love to see your purple kale. And okay, so that's where we are. Great. So if you have your kale probably still on the stalks, just start breaking it off in, I say bite-sized pieces in the recipe, but we're going to actually chop it up even more. So just start pulling off that woody center. Again, I did that before because I knew I would get to talking. So we want pieces like this. We just want that woody center gone. So rip it, rip it, rip it, and then you're going to get a pile similar to this. Yours will probably be bigger because I already have half of my kale in the salad bowl. But once you do get like a manageable pile that you can put in your hand, and again, if you're a professional chef, look the other way. Because this is the way it's going down tonight. So I just kind of scrunch them together. And yes, that is a culinary word, scrunch. And now we're just going to go down in like very thin lines because then I find this just makes it into more bite-sized pieces. All right. And then maybe I'll just do one little cut in the middle to make sure. So as I'm cutting my kale, just a reminder, we want the kale clean. We want the kale in bite-sized pieces. And then we're slicing the kale. So I'm done with this piece. All right, and this little scrunch, this little tiny scrunch. So we'll get in there and just slice it in little ribbons. And you can see they're kind of just gorgeous, gorgeous green ribbons. I love me some kale. All right, so technically, I mean, you could eat it just like this, the raw kale, but I find, for me at least, if I eat it like this, you're going to start hearing my stomach talking in about 5 minutes because like, oh, that's a bit rough for my system. So we're going to massage it. And by massaging it with some coarse salt, I'm just going to do, I've got my sea salt. I'm going to do a sprinkle on top. The coarseness helps to break down the walls and again, to make it easier to digest. We're going to do some lemon. Let me rinse off my little kale knife and I cut the lemon. So for those of you who have, again, I'm going to use the word and hope I don't jinx myself again, the old-fashioned squeezer, go for it. We're only going to need maybe 2 tablespoons for this whole head of cabbage. I love cabbage too. For this whole head of kale. And so if you have the newfangled device, just got this recently. Love it. It just makes squeezing lemon so much easier. You really only need about 1/4 of a lemon. So I'm putting the lemon inside. And then I'm just going to drizzle, there's that word again, drizzle the kale with about 2 tablespoons of gorgeous lemon juice. Oh my gosh, that is the best aromatherapy. Before we put this in well, I'm going to pour it out to make sure it looks like there's a little extra juice in there. But before we put it in the compost bowl, we're just going to give it a little smell. And there is our moment of meditation. That's probably as much as I've gotten this whole week. It's been a very full week, I will admit. All right, let me rinse my hands. So we've got the salt in there, we've got the lemon in there, and then for those of us who are using olive oil, I like it, again, because of its antiviral and antioxidant properties. But if you are on an oil-free diet, you don't need it, leave it out. But I'm going to add about 2 tablespoons. And then let me ask my beautiful assistant, how much more time do we have on the salmon? Just before I done. Oh, awesome. Perfect. So we've got about 3 more minutes on the salmon, and we need 3 to 5 minutes massaging. So I'm just going to get in there and start massaging. So I'm literally massaging it just like you'd massage, I don't know, massage a puppy dog, massage a pillow. I don't know, but I'm squeezing. I'm like trying to kind of juice the kale, if you will. Like I'm just, so in love with this kale. And for those of you who put in all the ingredients that I just did, you can smell the lemon. You can feel the coarse salt. The olive oil is moisturizing our skin on the outside and on the inside. And let's see, Sarah says, I'm starting to smell the garlic on the salmon. Okay. Then Sarah, yours might be ready. So you might want to double check, open the door or turn your oven light on and see if it's the texture that you like. I will say with the salmon, I better keep massaging while I'm talking. But everybody's preference is going to be different. Even in the same household, I know some of us prefer a softer salmon, so 12 minutes might be perfect. Some of us like really, really well done crispy salmon. And then you're probably going to want it closer to 18 minutes on the salmon. And then my daughter's back here, and she's like, some of us don't like salmon at all. And that's okay. But tonight, that's what we're having for dinner. All right. So let's see. Carol says mixing cookie dough. Oh, there you go. So it's kind of like massaging while you're mixing the cookie dough. I like it. And hopefully that's going to be gluten-free, sugar-free cookie dough. Right, Carol? Wink, wink. Okay, let's see. Any comments here? No comments there. Okay, so I have a few more questions and or answers about some of the foods that we are cooking tonight. Chlorophyll is one of the nutrients that did not come up or we haven't talked about yet. Oh my gosh, gotta take a break though. Not because I'm tired, because I've got way too much energy tonight because I'm so excited to be here. But I've got to take a break just to show you. Hopefully your kale is turning this dark. The more massaging that we're doing, the darker it becomes and the more beautiful it becomes. But that's that chlorophyll also. It's saying, put me in your body because I want to heal and cleanse your blood. Chlorophyll is so powerful for our energy and for just a great detox to cleanse our blood. All right, thank you very much. So it looks like we're at the 12-minute mark. So if you're smelling your salmon, you might want to check it. And again, if you like it softer, grab it out now. If you want it a little bit crispier, give it a few more minutes. Or you might even want to turn your oven up to 425 degrees. And that'll definitely crisp it up for you. I'm leaving mine in a little bit more because my family prefers it a little bit crispier. But oh my gosh, this kale is beautiful. All right, Laura says, my salmon is out. All right, great. So we've got the chlorophyll. Oh, and chlorophyll is actually rich in magnesium. And that, we actually take some magnesium supplements to help our muscles repair. And it also helps me sleep better at night. So I'm a huge fan of magnesium. And what else do we have? So far we've talked about iron, we've talked about chlorophyll, we've talked about the vitamin C in the cauliflower, and we've talked about the vitamin K for our bone health. All right, so my kale, the base of the kale salad looks ready. So again, I'll just hold it up for you. Like, it is green and happy. All right, so for now, I am going to put the kale salad to the side. And we're just going to let the lemon juice and the salt still kind of, quote unquote, cook the kale. So it's going to be that much softer and more palatable for us to eat. All right, rinsing that gorgeous kale off of my hands. And now we're moving back to the cauliflower. I'm going to grab the salmon so it doesn't burn, and then we'll get to the Cauli mash. And let's see, I see some movement again. So the salmon is out, putting it back on broil to crisp. That's a great idea. Okay, sounds delish. Yes, I hope it's tasting delish. Let's see, hubby said needs a bit longer before it flakes. The butcher cut some thick fillets. Ooh, so you got some meaty fillets, Sarah. Yum, enjoy. I'm gonna go double check mine right now. And I wouldn't be a very good instructor if I didn't remind you. Keep the mittens on. We watch Everybody Safe Tonight, no matter what. All right. Let's see. Oh, yeah. So this is bubbly. So I'm going to let mine sit there on the actual stove while it cools down. And then when I plate it, I'll show you the loveliness. All right, so next, to make the Cauli mash, which again, I wrote it on the handout, which you can find at the middle of your screen, the little round button with the paper-looking symbol, if you want that. But I say it will replace your beloved mashed potatoes. It is so delicious, and now that you know how nutritious it is for you, hopefully that'll be an extra motivation to make it more often, right? Okay, so grab your food processor, and or if you have a high-speed blender, that works great too. I just find with the food processor, it's just easier to scoop out for me, but whatever works for you. And because the cauliflower is still warm, I am going to start with tongs before I pour it all in. Let's see. And while I'm doing this, Allison says, I hope it can replace the mashers. Sounds like a great healthy alternative. Yes, I hope so too, Allison. Mainly because of the glycemic, glycemic index of potatoes. Like, as delicious as they are, they're just not great for our blood sugar. So I'll never say never, because I definitely enjoy a good potato once in a while. But if it's a baked potato recipe, I try to move towards sweet potato. That might sound like an oxymoron, but they're actually lower in the glycemic index. And or, obviously, we're doing Cauli mash, and anytime I can use cauliflower as a substitute for potato, I go for it. Lower in calories, way higher in nutrients. So this is taking a little bit longer, so wish me luck. I'm gonna pour the cauliflower in. It may or may not go flying. We'll see. Alright. So Yolata, is it Yolata or Yolade? Cooking our salmon a little bit longer. The oven is running slow. Okay. Well, yeah, take your time. That's a great thing with baking. You have a little bit more control over texture and consistency. Let's see. All right, so I just fit my whole head of cauliflower into the food processor. And if you had a larger size cauliflower than I did and it doesn't fit, no worries. Just do a couple different laps, a couple different turns. All right, so we got the cauliflower in, and while it's still nice and steamy, you want to use your ghee, which is my favorite healthy fat. For those of us who can tolerate dairy, I know I said dairy not so great in the beginning, but ghee is actually processed in a way where the whey is removed and you just get the yummy buttery part. Sadly, my doctor told me recently that I am still too sensitive to this, so I'm not going to use it tonight, which really does make me sad, but you're not here for my sadness, you're here for my joy. But an awesome alternative is coconut oil. This actually is a great healthy fat for our brains, just as ghee is. And oh, and back on the dairy, if your body can tolerate the dairy, full fat butter is actually healthier or healthy as well. Um, Preferably organic if you can. But I just think putting ghee and butter in the Cauli mash makes it taste that much more like mom's mashed potatoes. So we're going to take 2 tablespoons of oil, whichever one you choose. Oh, and garlic oil is actually really good too. And I'm glad I said that because I think I'm going to do 1 tablespoon of the coconut oil. I'm going to use my fingers again because you know I'm a fan of using my fingers. And then we're going to do 1 tablespoon of garlic oil, or excuse me, olive oil. And then it's not on the recipe chart, but I really love pepper, so I'm putting pepper in my mash. And then, of course, the sea salt to make them yummy and salty. Ooh, sea salt. Let's take a pause for the sea salt. This is actually Himalayan pink salt, and it comes from nature. Fun fact about sea salt is that the pH of sea salt is very similar to the pH of our blood system. So whenever you have the option to choose sea salt over table salt, please do. In fact, next time you're looking at your table salt, like the container it comes in, just read some of the ingredients on the back and tell me if you see any of those ingredients out in nature or even on their own in your kitchen. And there's a good chance you won't. Most table salt or white salt is chemical based. And so when we're eating, again, culinary nutrition wise, we're going to choose whole foods when at all possible. So we've got the Himalayan pink salt there. And I saw some movement over here. Let's see. So Geneva's saying when I don't want to get my food processor out, I use my immersion blender. Awesome, and it works well. Nicely done. All right, and then Margaret's asking 2 tablespoons ghee or butter plus the oil. I mean, I guess you can. I think that might be a little oily for the mash, so I would probably choose one or the other. I would do 2 teaspoons total, so maybe 1 teaspoon butter and 1 teaspoon olive oil. That could be really delicious. Laura saying no salt, but I did a lot of pepper. Nice, that's my girl. Another pepper girl on the call. Great. All right, and let's see. Oh, and Allison asked, can you use a blender instead of a processor? Absolutely. Yes. In fact, my Vitamix, don't tell my husband because he gets really jealous sometimes, but my Vitamix is my very best friend. I love her. So yes, go for it for sure. Let's see. And Sarah says, just eat real food. Jerk. I like it. Absolutely. When at all possible, eat real food. Your body says, thank you. All right. So I'm looking at the timer. We've got 49 minutes. I'm going to stop talking so much because, wow, this time goes by fast. So we've got our salt. We've got our oil. Let me just double check the ingredients, make sure I'm not forgetting anything. I forgot the garlic powder because I love me some garlic powder in my mash. But again, that's going to be personal preference. A little bit of garlic powder. And yes, on your sheet, you'll see 4 tablespoons of chopped herbs. We use that as a topping at the end. So this might be some noise. So again, either mute me or mind the noise. Here we go. And oh, and for the mash, I'm not going to do pulse. I'm going to do fully on. Here we go. And I'm going to grab some water. All right, and so If yours is like mine, you've got to scrape it down on the sides to get that gorgeous cauli in and fully mashed. Looks like my steamer. I'm going to have to talk to my engineer husband and ask to see if he can fix that, because I think I probably wanted cauliflower a little bit softer, but this will still be delicious. There we go. Oh yeah, it's getting the mashed consistency. Let's see. Sarah says she loves capital L, capital O, capital B, capital E, my Vitamix. Amen, sister. I mean, we use it like 2 or 3 times a day because it's just so versatile. And no, I'm not getting paid by Vitamix, but they could pay me by giving me another Vitamix because I use it so much, and then I wouldn't have to clean it so often. Okay, so it probably came up to the side. So again, mash it down, and you should be getting the mashed potato consistency. So let's finish up our kale salad, and we will have our full meal, and then we will also have time for questions, if there are more questions. So we've got this gorgeous green kale. It might be hard to see because I have the beautiful blue bowl. So I'm going to put that to the side. And now for our toppings, we've got our kale. We did our lemon juice. Again, the acid breaks down the cell walls, makes it easier to digest. But you're also getting that vitamin C from the lemon. And you know, I'm a huge fan of vitamin C. We've got the olive oil in there. We've got the dash of sea salt. Avocado, one of the healthiest full foods, healthy fats in the world. And we are going to use the whole avocado for this salad. So I am just cutting it in half to begin with. And then a fun little trick I used or learned a couple years ago. You just make a X with your knife. So one cut, and then you turn the avocado, make the X, you kind of twist it, and bam! You got the seed. So I'm going to drop that in my compost bowl. And now with the avocado, I am just making lines the long way. And then I'm going to crisscross to go short to get it in squares. And I'll show you what that looks like. If you're cooking with me, I don't know if you can see with the light, but we went down and then across. Then I'm going to do the same with the other side. Bam! And then I'm just going to take a spoon, and I am going to spoon this gorgeous avocado into our kale salad. All right, and then the next one. Gorgeous. I think I could probably eat avocado for every single meal. Yum. All right, so next we've got our half cup of walnuts. I went ahead and chopped a lot of them earlier because they're a little noisy to chop, but I left one to chop so I can show you that, again, we're just going to do a rough chop. I'm going to put it down the flat side, and I'm going to use the back of my hand to chop it, and then they are going to come out just kind of roughly chopped. Obviously, we want them bite size, not too small, but not too big either. I'm going to sprinkle the walnuts in. Yum. And now we've got the 1/4 cup of sun-dried tomatoes. Oh, gorgeous. And the sun-dried tomatoes I got are in oil. I think some people sell them in water or just plain, or better yet, if you know how to make them yourself. Kudos to you. I haven't learned that yet. But I got them in a jar from my favorite store, Sprouts. And I'm just going to pour them on the cooking board, and they're in all of their glory. Tons of beautiful oil. And then again, I'm just going to coarsely chop because they come kind of like this size, as you can see. And that's a little bit too big for this salad. I want them definitely more like, kind of like a size of a raisin size for eating in the salad. Gonna go down one way and up the opposite way until most of them look like they are raisin size. Let's see, any questions? Okay. Yum. Okay, now my mouth is salivating. Okay, and then I'm just gonna scoop them up and sprinkle them in the salad. And then the last ingredient I have on the ingredient list are the capers, which I find delicious. However, not everybody in my house loves them. So for tonight's menu, please try them if you have them, because I think they kind of play off, like the super saltiness of the capers plays off the sweetness of the kale and the avocado in the salad. But as a replacement, I'm actually going to use some salted pepitas, which are basically salted pumpkin seeds, as a replacement for the capers. I'm just going to sprinkle that around the salad. And there we go for ingredients. Ooh, I found some sun-dried tomatoes on my knife, and I definitely do not want to waste any of this goodness. So we've got all the ingredients in, and because they're all different weights, I just take a big fork and a big spoon, and I'm just going to mix. Mix it, mix it, mix it, mix it. And I'm definitely not a rapper. Never tried. You don't want me to try that tonight. All right. Oh, and that is gorgeous. And everything, because the salad was already boiled and has the lemon juice in there and the salt, it kind of holds on to some of these pieces. So it's not like some of your standard salads where all the yummy stuff falls to the bottom. Hopefully yours mixed as well as mine. Everything's like right there. So now let's plate and then eat, my favorite part. All right. Laura says salad looks amazing. Awesome. Sarah says me too. So then let's say what Sarah says. Oh, maybe it was the Vitamix conversation. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for chatting and for cooking with me. All right, so I'm going to grab a plate. And I am going to start with my Cauli mash. It smells really good. So yeah, mine didn't steam as long as I would have liked, so it's kind of looking like grits consistency more than the mashed potatoes, but it'll still be good. And it's still going down. And then next, I'm going to take my spatula and grab one of those gorgeous fillets back here. So I prefer the salmon on top of the cauli rice, excuse me, I made cauli rice last week. We made mashed cauli this time. I prefer the salmon over the mashed cauli because I just think it gives it that much more flavor. And then I am going to get a huge heaping of this gorgeous kale salad on the side. And again, anytime you can get the greens in, get them in. I'm filling up at least half of my plate with the greens. And there we have it. We've got our, at least I can say this right again, our cauli ginger salad. Nope, take two. Cauli ginger salmon with our magical kale salad. I so hope you love it. All right, and we made it. Like within 20 seconds. We've got 20 seconds longer. Although, honestly, if you have questions, I will stay as long as you want. So, oh, you know what, though? Before I even look at the comments, I am taking a bite because this smells so good. I'm going to take a bite of the salmon and just double check this texture with the cauli mash. Mm-hmm. Okay, Mama's happy. It's all good. So I hope you enjoyed that. Let me see what's happening in the comments over here. Carol says, bravo. Yay! I hope that means it was delicious for you as well. And Laura says, I put the dill and parsley on my cauliflower mash. Awesome. Thank you, Laura. I cut up some parsley earlier and completely forgot about it. So we'll just do, some magical drops. There you go. Now I have parsley on mine too. Anytime you get a chance to add anything extra green on your plate, I think I've said that 10 times already. Hopefully that means it'll stay in your head. Do it. Get your greens in. All right. Margaret says, thank you. You are welcome, Margaret. Laura says, thank you. You are welcome. You are welcome, Shelley. You are welcome so much, Diane. This has been honestly my pleasure. If you all want more recipes, you can head over to my blog, michellefox.com. You can find me on Facebook or Instagram at Michelle Fox Love. Again, I'm definitely open to your recipes. And let's see, a few upcoming events right now. And actually, the doors close tomorrow. But right now on Facebook, I'm doing a dry February. It's an encouragement group where we are doing 0 sugar for the 28 days of the month. And so far, it's been amazing. It's an amazing group of people. So find me on Facebook if you want to join us with that. On February 11th, I'm doing an Instagram Live, doing a little Valentine's special with my hubby. And that'll be for singles and couples alike. And then the event that I'm super excited about is that I get to come back and be with you all here with AARP on April 1st, which, yes, is April Fool's Day. So I thought I'd have some fun with the holiday, and we're planning to make breakfast for dinner. And that's no joke. All right. And then last but not least, I do have a free planner. If you go to michellefox.com/planner, it's an awesome way to plan out your week so that you don't ever have that, what's for dinner tonight? Because it'll be right there on the board. All right. Let me just double check the comments. Let's see. Laura says kale salad is outstanding. Awesome. Love it. Sarah says, so enjoyed this. I can't wait for the next session. Oh, yay, Sarah. I will look for you. And Yolade says, sounds good. Awesome. And let's see. Awesome. Well, again, it has truly been my honor to be here with you. And I can't wait to see you guys on April 1st, April Fool's Day. Have a beautiful evening and enjoy your meal.